to the Metal Command Podcast.
Welcome to the Metal Command Show. Tony here with you, and today I'm here to talk about my album of the month for November of 2023, and that is Cycles of Pain by Angra, out now on Atomic Fire Records. And man, it is really one of the most incredible albums they have ever done. Dennis Ward mixed, produced, and mastered the album. Dennis Ward has been doing a great job. He's always done a great job with a lot of power metal bands such as Firewind. He worked on the last Halloween album, really helping bring together 7 guys in a band to help make an incredible album. Him and Charlie Bauerfeind both did that. And he's back again, obviously producing, mixing, and mastering this newest Angra album. So, Angra is an interesting band because I was first introduced to them when I first read a magazine article, and I don't remember if it was Metal Edge magazine or if it was Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles, where they had kind of, they had a poll where they had the top 5 bands for progressive heavy metal, and Angra was one of the bands that was listed in there. Now, this was the mid to late 90s when I first saw this, and it was kind of like I'd never heard of these guys before. And of course, you didn't have any streaming platforms. You had no social media back then. You didn't have anything like that. So you kind of had to go out and buy a CD to really take a chance on the band. So the CDs I went and bought were Holy Land, and I think Holy Land was a CD I bought, the first album I bought by them. And I really loved it. I thought it was and still think it's one of the greatest progressive heavy metal albums I have ever heard. Now, some people weren't big on Andre Matos and his vocal style. I totally get that. But I didn't think it was good or bad. It was kind of, he was just there. And I think vocally, he was great for what they were doing back then. Then when I first started the radio show, the first album that was being promoted was Fireworks, which I think is a great album as well. Now, obviously, when Rebirth came out and, Dennis Ward comes into the picture, he did a phenomenal job on that album. And Rebirth, to me, is one of my favorite Angra albums. In fact, Holy Land and Rebirth are my 2 favorite albums by Angra. And I would say in that top 3, Cycles of Pain is right up there with both of them. I think it's really that great of a record. Now, when they had Edu singing, again, that's my favorite era of the band. They put out some great albums with him. But bringing Fabio Leone in to sing with them isn't a bad thing either. In fact, I remember when they announced him as the replacement vocalist, as a new vocalist, I was kind of like, a lot of people in the media, and even myself, were kind of like, man, is it going to sound like Rhapsody now? But Fabio has a tremendous voice. He has a very good voice, actually, and he really suits this band quite well. Cycles of Pain, to me, is the best album they have put out with him in the band. It's got a lot of variety on it. It's got a lot of great stuff, like Ride It to the Storm, for example. Just a great traditional, kick-ass, in-your-face power metal song that Angra is known for. And this album has a lot of great progressive elements to it. Tide of Changes, God of the Worlds, the title track. Here in the Now is a great song. This album has a lot of variety to it, and has the most variety to it, in my opinion, since Fabio Leone joined the band. A lot of progressive elements in it. And I think a lot of that also has to do with not only the great songwriting this band has been doing for a while, but I think Dennis Ward, right? I mean, he is somebody that he does a great job. And I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, obviously, but he does a great job with bands like this, with power metal bands, and really guiding them in the right direction. I mean, the stuff he's helped Firewind with, the albums he's produced by them, have been great. And as I mentioned, the last Halloween album they put out, Dennis Ward and Charlie Bauerfeind were in there, producing and mixing the album. You have to really direct 7 guys in a band to really get the best out of them, and really to be able to be there to have someone to bounce ideas off of when you're in the studio. But I'm going to be honest with you folks. I think Angra really did a great job on this, and it's probably, again, it's in my top 3. Definitely the best album they've done with Fabio Leone singing with them. But overall, a very, very good record, and I highly recommend it. Atomic Fire, again, Atomic Fire Records doing a great job with the bands that they have brought over to them, that they've signed. I mean, you look at them bringing the roster of bands that they brought with them when that label was first formed. You know, they've done a great job bringing Jag Panzer over there. You have Angra over there now, and you have a lot of great bands with them. And they're doing not only a great job at bringing the right bands onto that label, but just the promotion aspect of it has been awesome. So with that being said, if you like Angra and you've liked their past albums, definitely pick this up. I mean, if you liked Holy Land, if you liked Rebirth, I definitely think you are going to like this album. I think it's that good. The songs are strong, and everything about the album is great. So with that being said, that's all I have for you today. I give this album a 9 out of 10. It's very good. It's album of the month. It's a candidate for album of the year. Check it out. Angra, Cycles of Pain, out now on Atomic Fire Records. Thanks for watching. Stay metal, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this album. I'm curious as to what the fans think of it, and I will have a link to some music off of this album in the show notes. Thanks for watching. Stay metal.